I'm asking you to use a graphing calculator since that's the requirement. So you'll need to have that or you won't be able to get your answers to any of these problems. So I'm going to write down my two formulas. First of all, I'll write them PERT and my compound interest formula. So now I have my two formulas written there. Okay, now, let's read the first problem. How much will 18-year-old Kia have when she is 32 years old if she deposits $500 right now in an account paying 2.4% interest compounded monthly? Top or bottom? Bottom. Compounded monthly. That's going to be our bottom one. So, what goes in for A?
18.
18 goes here?
32.
32 goes here?
No, we're finding.
No, 32 goes for T.
Isn't this what we're finding?
Yeah.
A is the ending amount, and that's what I want to know. What is she going to end up with? What am I going to put in for P? 500, that's what she starts with. What's my interest rate?
2.4.
0.024. Remember when you change from the percent to a decimal, you move it two places, right? So 0.024. What's my N in this problem?
32.
18.
N is the number of times we compound per year.
12.
So compounded monthly means N is 12. Now what's T?
32.
We're going from 18 to 32. So how many years is that? 14 years. Remember, you have a calculator, so if you can't do that, type it in on your calculator. That should be a 14. T is the number of years that have transpired in the problem. So we're going from when she's 18 to when she's 32, so that's a total of 14 years, right? Now, let's take care of this right now. What's 12 times 14? 168. Now, sometimes we need logarithms. Do we need logarithms on this problem? We just type it in. And if you type in exactly the way I wrote it, you should get the right answer. So I gave my calculator away, so I am going to rely on you. Or maybe, since so many of you don't have calculators, get it.
699.43.
Let's see. $500 parentheses 1 plus 0.024 divided by 12 raised to the 168th power. I got $699 and 43 cents. Is that what you got? Anybody have a question about that? You need to be able to do this tomorrow or whenever I see you again on your own. Okay? So everybody understands why all the numbers are where they are.
Okay, so P is like your starting number,
Mm-hmm.
and then N is like.
Okay, now all that is in a video you need to watch. You need to get the notes from somebody. But
Okay.
yes, that's right. That's right. N is the number of times per year that we compound. So monthly would be 12. All right, Francie has 90 trigites. Their growth constant is 0.2468. How many days will it take Francie to have 900 trigites? Formula?
PERT.
PERT. What goes in for A? 900. What goes in for P?
90.
90. Easy, remember, don't be plugging anything in for E. R is,
0.2468.
and T is what I'm looking for. Are we gonna need logarithms for this problem?
Yeah.
Yes, we know that because our exponent is the variable. And you can't do it unless you get it down, so you're gonna need logarithm. But no logarithms until we do what first?
Divide by 90.
Divide by 90, and that one's gonna go in nicely. Remember, as long as they go in nicely, go ahead and divide them. But if they have to be rounded off, go ahead and leave them as fractions. So is that okay with everybody? 10? Now I need a logarithm, since the problem has an E, call ln. Because the most beautiful thing of all happens here, that cancels, right? I hope you did that on your quiz, because that was a quiz question. So ln 10 equals 0.2468t. And we'll type into our calculator ln 10 divided by 0.2468. So ln 10, don't forget to close the parentheses, divided by 0.2468. 9.32, actually, yeah, 3298 if we went to 10,000, and that would be days. So 9.3298 days. Everybody okay with that one? All right, let's turn it over. Now, again, the quiz tomorrow will actually just have 2 problems. Since I had a backside, I thought we'd do a couple extra for practice, but there'll only be 2 problems tomorrow. What interest rate is necessary to triple your money in 25 years if interest is compounded quarterly?
This is going to be the bottom one.
Gonna be the bottom formula again. This is problem 3. Is everybody with us? This one's gonna be a little tougher. What interest rate is necessary to triple your money? Now wait a minute. Did they tell me how much I started with? No. So I'm just gonna pick a number. Let's start with 100. That's a nice round number. What will I have to end up with in this problem then? 300. I'm tripling my money. What interest rate is necessary? So that's R, right?
Yes.
And I am compounding quarterly, so N is 4. And T is 25. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make that 100. Does all that make sense to you, James Wayne?
So where are you getting the 4 on the bottom from? Is that
Quarterly.
So then you still have to put that on.
There's 2 N's in the formula. You gotta put 4 in for both of them. What's the first step always?
Divide by 100.
Divide. So we're gonna have 3 equal to 1 plus R over 4 to the 100th. Oh my Lord. What are we gonna do? You know.
Logarithm?
No. Now that's a great guess because this is a complicated problem. But what is the only time we're going to use logarithms in our problem? If the variable is the exponent. Now, so the variable is not an exponent. There's no t or anything up here. I do need to get rid of that though. I got to get rid of that so I can start solving inside. Any ideas how we'll get rid of that 100th power? 100th root, that's exactly right. We're going to take the 100th root of both sides. Remember, we talked about how to do this on our calculator. So I need to take the 100th root of 3 is going to equal this. Would everybody agree with that? Now, to get the 100th root, we'll go through this one more time. We type in 100, because we're at the 100th root, so we type in 100. Then we go to our math menu and go down to the button that says X root, because you already put in 100, so you've told the calculator you want the 100th root of 3. What did you get? 1.011, da 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 da. Okay, so now I have 1.011046692 equal to 1 plus r over 4. Now, I wrote all that down, but it's still here. So I'm not going to type it back in. It's still right here. Tell me how to solve this now. I'm trying to figure out what r is.
Subtract the 1.
Subtract the 1. So right here on my calculator, I'm just saying minus 1. No round off. Not typing anything in. I'm just saying minus 1. So now I have subtracted the 1.
And multiply by 4.
Multiply by 4. So just times 4. No round off error. And I come up with an answer of 0.0442. Is that right?
Yeah.
Which as an interest rate, I could say
4.42%.
4.42%. The question was, what interest rate is necessary? I would take either one of these answers, but that's the best one, because that's how the bank's going to advertise it, 4.42%. All right, so let's go back through this. This was a little complicated problem. Everybody understand all the numbers and the positions here? Got that? So we divided by 100. Then because this was to the 100th power, we 100th rooted both sides to get rid of that. Then we took 100th root on our calculator by typing in 100 x root 3. And that gave me this number. Then I just needed to subtract 1 and times by 4. Got it? All right, the last one. How many grams of a 48-gram sample will be left after 19 years if its decay constant is negative 0.1234? I think this is a PERT. What's A?
Aren't we solving for it?
We're solving for A. What's P? 48? Easy. What's R? Negative 0.1234. And T is 19. So I like to go ahead and clean up my exponents. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply those. So I have 48e to the negative 2.3446.
Solving.
Yeah, I don't need logarithms, do I? When do I need logarithms? When the variable is up here. It's not, I just type it in. This is a just type in problem. So how do we get E again? We type 48 and then second ln.
Yeah.
And then our negative 2 point number. I got 4.6025, and that would be years. Or no.
Grams.
Grams, that's grams. Is that what you got?
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I have you tomorrow, right? Tomorrow when we take this quiz, I will write the formulas on the board, but by test day, which is the beginning of next week, Monday or Tuesday, that's in Power School, look it up and see which day you are. You need to have those memorized, okay? But tomorrow, I'll put them on the board since we haven't had them that long. Anybody Anybody have a question about that?
You have videos all over this, right?
What?
You have videos all over this?
Yep. Yep. Okay, all right, well, let's get our practice test back out. Did we start that yesterday in this class? I think we did. So we're gonna pick up where oh yeah, you guys were the race to the finish class. You guys were rocking those things yesterday. So we are ready for, we're still on practice test 1, obviously, but we're ready for the back of the first page. And this whole page should be a cinch for you if you were prepared for today's quiz. Because all of these are problems that we just took a quiz over. So here we go. Let's run through them. Take a look at that problem. What do you think you're going to want to do? Loop-de-loo. If there's already a logarithm in the problem, do not put more logarithms into the problem. You want to get rid of that logarithm. So you're going to loop-de-loo. So 3 to the second equals x minus 2. So 9 equals x minus 2. And x equals 11. You okay with that? Alright, coming down it looks like, so 3 times 2 to the x equals 24. That's exactly like what was on the quiz.
Divide by 2.
Divide by, no, not
3.
divide by 3. So 2 to the x equals 8.
Yeah.
Then 2.
And you know, yeah, you know 8 is 2 cubed, right? So x has to be 3. That's an easy one. We hope there's one like that on the test. 3 ln x equals 1. Oh, this was not on the quiz, one like this, but we've done them in our notes. What's the first step? Always, always, always? Divide. You got an extra number, divide it out. So ln x equals 1/3. Johnny? Oh, I handed these out forever ago, sweetheart. It might be stapled to something else if you were absent. I didn't give it to you today, though, because these were handed out a long, long time ago. I don't. Oh, maybe I do have an extra one, because I think I dug one out for Andy yesterday that he found his. Yeah, you need to get yourself organized. No, that I just handed out to you. Yeah, I just handed it out to you. Okay. All right, this problem, believe it or not, is exactly like this one. You see a logarithm in this problem? What's the base on it? What's the base on ln? E. The base on an ln is e, it's log base e. So if I loop-de-loo that, it's going to say e to the 1/3 equals x. Done. You're finished. If you don't have a calculator, and this is on the no calculator section, oh, I didn't write that on this, but this is the no calculator part.
Yeah,
Did I write it on there? Oh yeah, there it is. No calculator. This is a no calculator thing, so you're going to stop right there. That's the answer. Done. All right, what about D?
divide by 36.
Okay. So if I divide by 36, I'm going to have 1/2 to the x minus 1 equals 1/4. Anything special about 1/4? It's 1/2 squared. So if 1/2 to the x minus 1 equals 1/2 squared,
X would equal 3.
x minus 1 has to be 2, so x equals 3. Mrs. Ford, is it always going to work out like that? Yeah. If this is no calculator, it has to work out like that. So you want to look to get a common base. If you don't have a calculator to find that exponent, you need to have a common base. Otherwise, because that's an exponent, you need a logarithm. And without a calculator, that's going to be really hard. So always look for that common base relationship. Okay, we keeping up, everybody? These aren't too bad. All right, what about E? Take a look at it. Something about it should just pop out at you. You have to combine it. You cannot have two logarithms on the same side. These have got to be combined. So you're going to combine them into one logarithm. That means you got to do something with the x plus 1 and the x. What are your choices? When you combine them, you're either going to multiply them or divide them. Since that's a minus, divide. So x plus 1 over x. These have got to be put together into one. That means combining the x plus 1 and the x. That's a minus, so when you combine them, it's a division. Now, what do you do to get rid of this logarithm? Loop, 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 de-loop. So 3 to the second equals x plus 1 over x. 9 equals x plus 1 over x. What do I do? Multiply by x. The suspense is killing me. What happens now? No, I'm not going to use quadratic formula because I don't have any squares.
X equals 1.
Don't I just subtract the x? Don't get scared. Just do regular arithmetic like you know how to do. Regular equation solving. Ava, how are you today?
Good, how are you?
Well, I'm great. I'll be better if you can tell me how to solve this equation. What would you do to get started when you look at this equation right here?
Put together.
What?
Put them together.
Absolutely. Ava says no, no, no. No, we can't have two of them, so we're going to have one of them. And it's going to look like this. Now, what's going to happen when I put those two together? How am I going to put those together? I got to combine
Divide.
this and this. That's going to be a division problem, right? Just like that one was. But this is a different outcome than I had over here. See what I had over here? So I loop-de-looped it. I'm not loop-de-looping this one. This one's easier. What am I doing? So 3x minus 2 over x equals x. Now what?
X squared equals
Multiply by x.
Multiply by x. So 3x minus 2 equals x squared. So whoever was talking about quadratic formula over here, we're in the ballpark because this is an x squared. So let's move everything over. So we'll have x squared minus 3x plus 2.
That factors, doesn't it?
If it factors, go ahead and factor it if you want. But could we use the quadratic formula if that's what we wanted to do? Absolutely. I think this does factor though pretty easily.
X minus 2, X
Minus 2 minus 1.
Check.
So x equals 2, x equals 1, and Jalen says we need to check for extraneous roots. If we put a 2 in here, here, or here, will any of these be negative? No. So that's a good answer. What if we put a 1 in here, here, and here? Would any of those be negative?
No.
No. So this time, both of our answers are okay. Both of our answers are fine. Okay, we're almost done with this part. Let's see, a couple more. ln x equals negative 1. Look at the one right next to it. That we already did. We divided by 3 there, so we had ln x equals 1/3. Well, this just says ln x equals negative 1.
E to the negative.
So the base is e, we're gonna loop-de-loo, e to the negative 1 equals x. What does e to the negative 1 mean? 1 over e, perfect. And that's all you can do, that's the answer. You had one of these on your quiz. 27 and 9 are special numbers. Why are they special? They're both powers of 3. So 3 cubed and 3 squared.
Actually, 2/3.
So 3x equals 2 because the 3's are the same. So 3x equals 2 and x equals 2/3. How about I? What'd you say? Yeah. The problem, if you loop-de-loo it, the problem says x squared equals 9, so x has to be 3. Number 5, write as a single logarithm.
3 log x minus 2 log y.
Wait, I'm doing 5.
So log,
Oh, wait, I'm on.
parentheses,
So I'm gonna write one logarithm,
m to the 4th over
m to the 4th over n. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. M to the, did I turn too many pages or did you turn too many?
No, I was on, I didn't see that problem until.
Okay. So is that okay with everybody?
yes.
Remember, a number out in front becomes an exponent. The minus becomes a division. We've done that a couple times already today. Now, the next one, you are expanding. When you expand it,
Plus or minus.
you gotta have a log for each part of the problem. So a log for the x and a log for the y.
3 log x minus 2 log y.
So 3 log x minus 2 log y is what Evan says. What do the rest of you think about that?
Yep.
The rest of you think that's okay? All right. Maddie, we are on our practice test. Who signed that pass?
I don't know her. I wasn't sure.
Okay.
You're just sitting at the, I don't think she's usually here, but.
Okay. All right. Is this okay with everybody? Everybody got it? All right. So now we're breaking out the calculators. So on test day, the test will be in 2 pieces. One piece will be white and one piece will be colored. Paper, I mean, the white paper and the colored paper. The white paper is no calculator, so you'll do all that like we just did. Then you'll turn that in and you'll get the colored page and you'll do that with your calculator, okay? So we got our colored page. I think I did it on bright pink just to cheer you up. Huh?
You know it's so.
I know. So here we go. I need a calculator to solve this. I'm gonna round, ooh, watch it, nearest thousandth. So how many decimal places? Three. Okay, so here we go. What do you do?
Type it in.
Type that in?
Yeah.
What did you type?
I press map alpha map, and I got
Oh. Do all the calculators do that?
What?
This one doesn't.
this one does.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to ask for work. So the work you're gonna show is 7 to the x equals 19. Loop-de-loo, right? Now, see where that variable is? So we're gonna log both sides. And log both sides. And what's gonna happen to this exponent then?
Take them out.
So x log 7 equals log 19. So x equals the log of 19 divided by the log of 7. Now, back when we talked about this, you all made the observation, we did 2 or 3 examples, and then somebody said, well, is it always gonna be the log of 19 over the log of 7? And I said, yes, it's called the change of base formula. So you can go straight from here to here, if you can remember that. You don't need to do all this intermediate work. It's always the log of the top number over the log of the bottom number. So it's top over bottom. So log 19 over log 7. The only caution is when you type that in, you know what I'm going to say, close the parentheses. I got 1.513. Did you?
Yep.
All right, so 5 times 8 to the x equals 12. We had one on our quiz that looked kind of like this, but this one's different. First thing we're gonna do is divide by that 5, of course, and 12 over 5 is 2.4, I think. Is that right? Yeah. Now what's different is, on the quiz, we got something like 8 to the x equals 16. And we could change both of these into 2. Well, you're not gonna change these guys. So we're gonna need to take the logarithm of both sides. And we did that because our variable is an exponent and we need to pull it off. And then we can divide. These two problems are very similar, very similar. Did you get 0.421? All right, let's see if we can get this guy done. Alright, so here we go, C. Divide by -2. So e to the 3.8x equals 6. Now where's your variable? It's an exponent, right? If your variable is an exponent, kids, you have to use logarithms. But since this one has an e in it,
ln.
we'll ln both sides. Now, what happens if you forget and accidentally log? You'll still get the right answer. You just won't be able to do this, which makes the problem easier. So ln 6 divided by 3.8 should be our answer. Don't forget to close the parentheses. 0.472. Anybody have a question about that one? These are all done about exactly the same way. That one used ln. Okay, got a quiz tomorrow. It's gonna have problems just like these word problems on it. So let's see how you do with this first one. Which formula do you need?
First.
That big long one, right?
Yeah.
Not per. So we need the formula that looks like this. Remember, that has to be memorized for test day. All right, how long will it take for an investment of 6543 to grow into 10,000 if the bank pays 1.875 compounded daily? All right, what goes where? What's A?
10,000.
10,000. What's P?
6,550.
What's R? 0.01875. What's N?
1.
365. How many times per year are we compounding? 365 daily. 365 T. And you see what that exponent is? That's bad news. That means I'm going to need a logarithm. Right? So, before I do that though, I'm going to divide. What am I going to divide by?
6543.
Yep. Now, I don't want you to be frightened of this problem, you guys. I know that looks terribly messy. But remember, you have a calculator, so you do not need to worry about stuff. Don't panic. Just, okay, this is what I have. I'm going to take the logarithm of both sides. Why am I doing that? Because my variable is an exponent. And I always need logarithms. Now, I'm not worried about this ugly fraction. I'm going to type it in. Some of you are going to be typing it in, rounding it off, getting points off, and I don't want you to worry about that. Just leave it be. We're going to type it in a minute. So I took the logarithm of both sides, and I did that so that this would come out in front, right? You got to get that exponent down. Now, what am I trying to figure out? T? Aren't I trying to figure out T? So let's just talk about what we need to do. don't we need to get the 365 moved over here?
Divide by 365.
And don't we need to get all of this moved over here? Now, the other day, this gave us trouble, so I want to go through this carefully with you right now. If you have your calculator, I want you to type this in. So I want you to type log 10,000 divided by 6543. And go ahead and hit equals. Don't write it down, but just hit equals on the calculator. Did you get 0.1842? Now, remember, that's this. We're trying to get t, so we need to divide by the 365. Would you agree? So hit divided by 365 equals. Don't worry about what it says. Okay? Now, that's gone. We divided by that. Now what do we need to divide by?
Log.
This, right? So hit divided by log 1 plus 0.01875 divided by 365. And you should have come up with 22.624 years. Is that what you got? I'm not hearing much yes or no. Yes, somebody got that?
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about it again, and then I'm going to stop. So we set it up. Divided first. We always divide first by the extra number. Then we said, look, our exponent is the variable, so I'm going to log both sides. That pulls the exponent out in front. So then I had this big, ugly mess. So I said, okay, look, I got to get t by itself. So I'm going to have to divide by 365 and divide by that big logarithm. So I took this guy, typed it in on my calculator, hit equals, then divided by 365, hit equals, and then divided by this logarithm, hit equals, and gave me that answer right there. What? Yeah. And yes, yesterday or the other day when I did this, I tried to do it all at once, and everyone was getting all confused. So I'm saying just do it separately. Divide by the 365, get an answer, and then divide by the other part and get the final answer. That you change. Okay? Yes.